Ouais, tous les jours, on a l'occasion de créer des petites connexions avec nos clients.
How meaningful the small connections with guests can really be.
And I'm still here, the 1996 to 2026.
Esa experiencia influye mucho en la manera en que practico la hospitalidad en mi trabajo hoy.
Hospitality is experienced in a very close, family-oriented way. Welcome back to Lobby Talks. My name is Lee Taylor, and I am the Director of Human Resources here at the Tulsa Marriott Southern Hills Hotel. Today's episode is a little different and honestly one of the most special conversations that we have had here at the hotel. When you walk into a hotel or you attend an event, you see the ballroom, the food, the service, and the experience. But what you might not see is the world behind it. Here at Marriott Tulsa Southern Hills and Ref and Event Center, the team that powers your meetings, weddings, conferences, and celebrations comes from more than 15 different countries and cultures, different languages, different traditions, different backgrounds, but we all work together to create one incredible guest experience. So today we're meeting the people behind the scenes, the team members who bring hospitality to life every day. We asked them 3 simple questions. Who are you? Where are you from? And what's one moment where you felt a true cultural connection with a guest or an event attendee? So before we meet everyone across the hotel, I want to start with a few of the leaders who help guide these teams every day. First up, the person responsible for making sure every guest room and event space feels welcoming and ready is our Director of Housekeeping. Hello.
Hi, hola.
So tell everyone who you are and where you're from.
Hola, mi nombre es Mayra Alegría. Soy la directora del Departamento de Limpieza y soy originaria de México.
So how many years have you been here?
He estado aquí por más de 20 años.
Wonderful. So yes, Myra is our incredible Director of Housekeeping, originally from Mexico, and has been serving in this hotel for many years. How do hospitality and events differ where you are from, and how does that perspective help you in your role today?
Crecí en un lugar donde la hospitalidad no es solo un gesto, es una forma de vida. Cuando tenemos invitados o celebramos eventos, siempre buscamos que todos se sientan cómodos, bienvenidos y valorados. Hoy aplico esa misma perspectiva en mi trabajo, ya sea con nuestros huéspedes o con mi equipo. Me concentro en cuidar los detalles, en que todos se sientan importantes y crear un ambiente cálido y acogedor para todos. Para mí, la hospitalidad comienza con el corazón y se refleja en cada acción.
Myra just responded that hospitality isn't just a gesture, it's a way of life. And when we have guests or celebrate events, we always make sure that everyone feels comfortable, welcome, and valued. Today, she applies that same perspective in her work. Tell everyone who you are and where you're from.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Marie Emery. Je suis le Front Office Manager à l'hôtel Marriott à Tulsa. J'ai commencé ma carrière ici en tant que stagiaire, ce qui m'a permis de découvrir très tôt la culture du service et l'excellence opérationnelle qu'exige la gestion d'un hôtel.
Marie Emery is the front office manager at the Marriott in Tulsa. She began her career at the property as an intern, and where she gained firsthand experience in this hotel's strong service culture and commitment to operational excellence. So tell us a moment when you felt a cultural connection with a guest.
Ouais, tous les jours, on a l'occasion de créer des petites connexions avec nos clients. Parfois, c'est quelqu'un qui a voyagé en Europe ou parfois, c'est quelqu'un qui prépare son voyage. Je partage toujours des petits conseils avec eux. Mais une des rencontres qui m'a marquée, c'est avec 2 clients belges qui sont arrivés à l'hôtel. Ils étaient ici pour des funérailles, malheureusement. Et comme ils ne parlaient pas très bien anglais, je les ai aidés un peu avec le séjour, c'était compliqué, ils avaient des problèmes de voyage. Je leur ai parlé en français, j'ai pu les aider avec les démarches de voyage. Et au fur et à mesure de la conversation, en discutant, complètement par hasard, on s'est rendu compte qu'en fait, on était voisins à Bruxelles, dans la même rue on habitait quand J'étais plus jeune. Et on a créé cette connexion spéciale et en fait, on se retrouve ici à Tulsa. C'était vraiment inattendu, mais c'était vraiment un moment spécial. Ça m'a rappelé que même à l'autre bout du monde, on peut tomber sur quelqu'un avec qui on partage un petit bout de notre histoire.
Marie just shared how meaningful the small connections with guests can really be. She recalled a particularly memorable moment when 2 guests from Belgium arrived in Tulsa for a funeral and were feeling overwhelmed due to language barriers. Marie was able to speak with them in French and help them navigate some travel issues. During their conversation, they discovered that years earlier they had actually lived on the same street in Brussels, making them former neighbors who unexpectedly reconnected in Tulsa. How special is that? It was a powerful reminder of how hospitality can bring people together in surprising ways. It turned a normal check-in to a moment of connection. Hospitality happens everywhere in the hotel, but one place that guests and event attendees always remember is the food. So tell everyone who you are and where you're from.
Mi nombre es Fabiola Tepox, soy gerente de los puntos de venta de Tulsa Marriott Southern Hills y soy de un pueblo llamado Huejotzingo en el estado de Puebla, México.
This is Fabiola Tepox, and she is the outlet manager for the Tulsa Marriott Southern Hills, and she is from Puebla, Mexico. So how do hospitality and events differ where you are from, and how does that perspective help in your role today?
En mi cultura, los eventos y reuniones suelen ser muy familiares y sociales. Esa experiencia cultural influye mucho en la forma en que practico la hospitalidad en mi trabajo hoy. Trato de que cada huésped se sienta genuinamente bienvenido, no solo atendido. Para mí es importante anticipar las necesidades de las personas, ofrecer un servicio atento y crear un ambiente donde los huéspedes puedan sentirse relajados y valorados. Esa manera de entender la hospitalidad me ayuda a brindar un servicio más humano y auténtico en mi rol actual.
So in the town that she is from in Mexico, they always try to make guests feel welcome and like they're always at home. So she says hospitality isn't only about service, it's about creating warm connections with others. In her culture, events and gatherings are usually very family-oriented and social. So now Fawn Lee is with us. So Fawn, introduce yourself and what department are you in?
Trong văn hóa của tôi, hiếu khách rất quan trọng. Vì trong công việc, con chia, tôi luôn thân thiện, chào đón và giúp khách cảm thấy thoải mái khi họ đến em lao.
So Fawn Lee is the concierge host up in the M Lounge. And so Fawn Lee, how do hospitality and events differ where you are from, and how does that perspective help you in your role today?
Tôi đến từ Việt Nam và tôi có gốc người Hoa. Nền tảng và kinh nghiệm sống của tôi ảnh hưởng rất nhiều đến cách tôi làm việc trong ngành dịch vụ. Cách ngày nay tôi được huấn luyện và phải tôn trọng. Mọi người luôn thân thiện và sẵn sàng giúp đỡ người khác. Vì vậy trong công việc tôi luôn cố gắng lắng nghe khách hàng, phục vụ họ với thái độ nhiệt tình và tạo cho họ cảm giác thoải mái, được chào đón. Tôi tin rằng sự tử tế và kiên nhẫn và chăm sóc chu đáo của tôi giúp mang lại trải nghiệm tốt nhất cho khách hàng. Tôi rất vui được phục vụ quý khách. Chúc quý khách có một kỳ nghỉ thật tuyệt vời và thoải mái.
Fawn shares that her culture in Vietnam and her life experiences strongly shape how she works in hospitality. She was raised to respect everyone, be friendly, and always be ready to help others. In her work, she focuses on listening to guests, serving them with enthusiasm, and making sure that they feel comfortable and always welcome. She believes that kindness, patience, and attentive care help create the best possible experience for every guest. These qualities serve her especially well in her role. And we often hear from guests about the incredible, meaningful connections that she builds. particularly with many of our frequent guests. We now have Nelson Matthias, who is a cook in our kitchen. And Nelson, tell us a little bit about where you're from and how many years you've been with us.
Yo vengo de Dominican Republic, donde Caribbean, donde las personas son muy amables, muy dulces, y yo trato de traer todo ese amor y todo aquí a mi trabajo, como siempre. Yo empecé a trabajar aquí en el Marriott en 1996, like dishwasher. Después de eso, empecé a trabajar en la cocina como cook. And I'm still here, the 1996 to 2026. It's a lot of time.
So, Nelson, tell us how hospitality events differ from where you're from in the Dominican Republic, and how does that perspective help you in your role today?
El dominicano es like a type of person, una persona muy amable en todo el sentido de la palabra. La persona que va a la República Dominicana, a la isla, la hace suya, se quiere quedar a vivir en la isla por el tipo de persona que habita en la isla. Somos muy amables, somos capaces de quitar la comida de nuestra boca para dársela a la persona que viene a visitarnos, hacerlo sentir como en su casa. Muchas personas de toda parte del mundo vienen a visitar la isla y hacen la decisión, they make the decision de stay, vivir en la isla, y el resto es historia. Estamos llenos de todo tipo de personas de toda parte del mundo, y yo trato de venir aquí a mi trabajo a dar lo mismo a mis compañeros, a mis jefes y a los clientes que vienen al hotel, hacerlos sentir como en su casa.
So, hospitality in the Dominican Republic is of a different caliber. Locals welcome the guests into their homes and they share everything. Often tourists will be so overcome by their welcoming spirit that they choose to move there or return there often. Nelson brings this spirit with every interaction with staff, leaders, and guests. Hi, we now have Susanna, who is our kitchen manager. So, Susanna, tell us a little bit about where you're from.
Hola a todos, mi nombre es Susana Quileñán, soy Kitchen Manager y mi país de origen es Chile.
So, Susanna is from Chile. And Susanna, how does hospitality and events differ from where you're from? And how does that perspective help you in your role today?
En mi cultura, en Chile, la hospitalidad se vive de una forma muy cercana y familiar. Cuando recibimos a alguien, tratamos de hacerlo sentir como en casa, compartiendo comida, conversación y tiempo juntos. Los eventos y reuniones suelen organizarse alrededor de la mesa, donde la comida se convierte en una forma de mostrar cariño y cuidado por los demás. Esa experiencia influye mucho en la manera en que practico la hospitalidad en mi trabajo hoy, porque para mí no solo se trata de servir comida, sino de crear momentos donde las personas se sienten bienvenidas, cuidadas y valoradas.
So in Chile, where Susanna is from, hospitality is experienced in a very close, family-oriented way. They make everyone feel at home by sharing food, conversation, and time together. Events and gatherings are centered around the table where food becomes a way to show affection and care for others. For her, it is not just about serving food, but about creating moments where people feel welcomed, valued, and cared for. Now we have Banchi Badasa, and she is our restaurant helper. So, Banchi, can you tell us where you are from and a little bit about what you do?
ስሜ ዋንቻ በጣሳ ይባላል። የመጣሁት ከኢትዮጵያ ነው። የምሰራው ምግብ ቤት ውስጥ ረዳት ሆኜ ነው።
So, Banchi is a restaurant helper in our restaurant, and she is from Ethiopia. So, Banchi, how does hospitality and events differ from where you're from, and how does that perspective help you in your role today?
ስሜ ዋንቺ በዳሳ ይባላል። የመጣሁት ከኢትዮጵያ ነው። ምሰራው ምግብ ቤት ውስጥ እንግዳ ተቀባይ ሆነን ነው የምንሰራው። ረዳት እንግዳ ተቀባይ ነኝ። እንደዛው ሆኜ ነው የምሰራው።
Hospitality in Ethiopia is a very important part of the culture. Guests are treated with great respect and warmth, and it is common for guests to offer food, drinks, and especially traditional coffee. The famous Ethiopian coffee ceremony is a special way of welcoming guests and spending time together. People often gather to talk, share stories, and even the moment making visitors feel valued and at home. So we have Phoebe Lira here, and she is from our housekeeping department. So Phoebe, tell us a little bit about where you're from and what you do here for the hotel.
Mi nombre es Febe Lira. Soy encargada del lobby. Soy originaria de México.
Phoebe Lira, originally from Mexico, works as a lobby and public spaces attendant. She helps ensure that everything guests see from the lobby to shared spaces is sparkling, clean, and welcoming the moment that guests arrive. So tell us, Phoebe, how does your culture shape how you care for guests?
Ser hispana ha influido mucho la manera en que veo mi hospitalidad. Para mí no se trata solo de hacer un trabajo, sino de hacer que las personas se sientan bienvenidas, cuidadas y valoradas. Esa calidez que tenemos en mi cultura es algo que comparto todos los días con cada huésped y con mi equipo de trabajo.
So Phoebe says that being Mexican has shaped the way that she approaches hospitality. For her, it's more than just doing the job. It's about making people feel welcomed, cared for, and valued, and sharing the warmth of the culture with every guest and teammates that she meets. And from my perspective, I know this to be true. Whenever I see her in the halls, in the lobby, hard at work, she's always there with a beaming smile, lighting up that space around her. Behind every perfectly set table, every clean guest room, every greeting at that front desk is a team representing cultures from around the world, all coming together to create one unforgettable experience. Thanks for joining us on Lobby Talks. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure hosting this episode and sharing just a few of the incredible team members who bring our cultures, perspectives, and passion to hospitality here at Marriott Tulsa Southern Hills and the Ruffin Event Center. Our team truly reflects the world, and that's what makes the experience we create for our guests so special. If you're interested in joining our diverse, supportive, and innovative team, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or get my contact information from the show notes. We'd love to meet you.
Send us a message and be sure to follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Thanks for listening.